I don't know if you guys, I imagine you don't run into very many people face to face these days, but I wanted to take a minute to explain to you guys when you do go outside and you see people, now that you're becoming Tai Chi masters, which is a privilege. It's a responsibility. So now you have a little bit of responsibility to go and make the world a better place with the calmness and the tranquility that you're learning, right? So people have the need to be accepted into a group, right? Stronger than anything else. That's like it's part of our evolution. We evolved to be working in groups, and not so much now, but hundreds of years ago, if you weren't fitting in that group, there's a good chance you would die because you couldn't share things with other people. So that need to be accepted is fused in our biology, right? Now you can use that for not just through sharing, but you can use that for the benefit of mankind, if you think about it. So when people get stressed, right, their body shows it, right? They don't breathe properly. They're tense in the body, and what happens is when the body's tense like that, it doesn't breathe properly and it gets stressed. And when the breathing is kind of restricted and the body's tight and tense, the breathing doesn't, the brain doesn't function the same way. It functions in what we call a partial fight or flight response, right? And when you're in that, not the full panic mode, although that happens too, but even when we're in a slight level of anxiety and panic, when the breathing doesn't help that, it's a cycle. So the breathing affects the mind, and the mind will further affect the breathing when we're not calm. And that fight or flight response kicks in, we're not thinking rationally. We're only thinking about things that we're afraid of, right? And it releases cortisol in the body too, which is not good for the body long term, right? And our immune system doesn't function properly. Okay, anyway, there's a point to this, so just hang in there a second, okay? When you yawn, what are people more likely to do?
Yeah.
More likely to yawn. Okay, so it's the same thing when breathing and with posture. So when you see someone that's very stressed, and you know what they need to do, they just need to relax. They need to take a deep breath and calm down. It's going to be better for their health. It's going to be better for their thinking and their perspective on things if they can just, calm down a little bit. So you can have that effect on people, right? So when you see someone, what do people do? When you tell them to calm down, what do? Do they calm down? No. They calm down. The last thing they're going to do is they're going to calm down, right? So your responsibility now as a calm person that could breathe calm and collect themselves and think properly, because your breathing is affecting your brain in a positive way, right? What you need to do is you need to work on Jedi mind tricking. So obviously when you tell them to calm down, they're not going to calm down. But if you just take a deep breath, what does it suggest to that person?
It's stressful to me. So
it suggests they need to take a deep breath. You're not telling them, right? You're presenting a good example, and you're going to make them want to do the same thing. Not because you're telling them to, but because through the power of suggesting, because people want to be accepted. They want to do what you're doing, right? So you want to use that to the advantage, not to your advantage, but the advantage of everyone, to have people calm down through your example. So just try that next time. If you're out and about and you see anyone that's stressful, just try to make eye contact with them. And take a nice deep breath and see if it changes their demeanor at all. It might not, but if it does even just a little bit, then you've had a positive effect on society, okay? So just keep that in mind. So now that you're learning this Tai Chi, and you can relax on command, okay? Use that power for good and not for evil, if you can, all right? Does that make sense?
yes, yeah.
But anytime in Kung Fu or Tai Chi, when you develop skill, right? Ultimately, you want to use that skill for the betterment of society, right? So that's one way you can do that. I hope you do. Okay, let's get started.